about a very specific time in history that I'm not talking about the Enlightenment in Europe and simultaneous radicalization of the Muslim world that is, for instance, visible in the movements and like Wahhabitism, but we are talking more about times in which there was no escape from the clashes between the West and the Arab world. And this is, for instance, in 1920s when the Kemalists, the Occidentalists in Turkey, there was the westernized Turkish politicians, just changed the face, the social and political face of Turkey, making the what was rest from the Ottoman Empire, made it more secular, modern, etc. In the same time, also in the 1920s, there was another movement that was exactly had this opposite arrow, which was of course the Muslim Brotherhood movement. It started in Egypt. It's somehow connected. It's somehow connected because Egypt used to belong to Turkey, really, to the Turkish Empire. So just in the same time, when the Kemalists were trying to put some part of the Islam world to more under some more liberal Western regime, in the same time there was the opposite direction chosen by some in Egypt. Today it's not so obvious because now again after the Arab Spring, in which the Muslim Brotherhood took power for a short time, we have again the westernized military men who gain control, and now it's not so, it's a little bit like in Turkey when there's still some Kemalism and still some Islamism evening up a little bit. So it's not so easy, but we can see the exact moment in which the terrorism could have started, and somehow, to some extent, it started. This is my favorite theory. And the fourth theory is about the theorists like Katb, for instance, in the 1950s, when they have reportedly make a melange of mixture of fascism, communism, and so on, and made something completely new. This is the theory of those who want to say that Islam per se has little to do with terrorism. I would be more with the third, that explains how Islam is connected somehow to terrorism better, I think. So there are four theories, two not so serious, two more serious. Okay, so this is terrorism. Another negative stereotype that was given was of course about oh dear, how is this animal, the animal in English? Meh. This animal. Goat, of course, goat. So goat is was mentioned. Of course, it's about the sexual exploitation of goats. This is, I told my students, this is not so very untypical. When you have a region and you have many deserts or a deserted land of some sort, then you have the sheep shagging in Scotland and Wales. You have also some things which has something to do with female mules in Mexico, and you have, of course, the Islamic goats. Okay, the hatred towards different nation. This is given as if this was only hatred directed from Muslim world or from Arab world to, because of course this is not the same, from Arab world, for instance, to another. But there are some hatreds. This is true to some extent. That is true. But within the Muslim world, there are definitely more hatred to each other than perhaps to outside. I think there are more hatred between Arabia, Saudi Arabia, and Iran, I think, than there is from the Arab, even more than from the Arab world to the different cultures. But even still, it's not so easy. The Arabs like to, sometimes they want to quarrel like we are one family, one band, and